Thanks for joining us. How small business moves forward, leading together here in these very unpredictable times. And we're joined by Craig Harder from Raptor Mining. And to be honest, his business, well, it's not quite so small. It's probably on the medium size because it's a global operation. And Craig joining us from Edmonton, Alberta. And Craig, just for the benefit of everyone getting to know you here, describe a little bit about Raptor Mining and what it is you guys are up against right now.
Yeah, so Raptor Mining, thank you, Garrett. Raptor Mining, we are, I like to say we're the smallest global company in Canada. We have operations throughout Latin America, North America, and overseas in Southeast Asia and soon to be in Australia. So what we do is we service the mining industry. Which the mining industry is a growing industry. A lot of people think of it as coal mining or iron ore mining. And really, so when I started the company, that's what it was. It was coal mining and iron ore mining for the most part. That was the focus. But now it's really around lithium and cobalt and graphite and nickel and moly and all the alloys and metals that go into battery production and even some of the rare earth alloys that go into a lot of the technologies that we enjoy every day. So mining is much more sophisticated than a lot of people realize, and it's in everything that we use, from our phones to the laptops that we're talking on right now, to my stainless steel coffee mug that I'm drinking out of right now. And so it's a part of our daily life. So that's what Raptor is. And we are headquartered here in Canada. And with global operations, we have a lot of people in the air moving around all the time. And so right now it's unparalleled time of uncertainty in the world right now.
And let's make it, and Craig, let's make it real for everyone. Like, you're the CEO. You already know it's lonely at the top at the best of times.
Yes.
Okay. Now we're in, quote unquote, the worst of times, and you've got how many employees and their families you're responsible for? Something like 400?
Yeah, around there, just under 400. So it's a lot of people and a lot of families and a lot of communities, and that's kind of how we see it. So right now, our top priority is our families, our employees, our communities that we're involved in. And so right now it's making sure everyone's home and safe and trying to get home, and helping them get home. So that's definitely, people ask me, my bankers ask me every once in a while, what keeps me up at night? And it's all those families that keep me up at night, and those people. So and it's even more so now.
The theme, we're having these conversations primarily because we already know that small business is going to be hit harder than anyone else really in this situation, and the theme for this conversation that we landed on, Craig, is mindset. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on mindset and how it applies to any leader who's going through what you're going through right now.
Right. You know what? So mental health is a big part of it. And before I get into that and the mindset of it, it was only, 2 weeks ago that we were just running our daily lives. 2 weeks ago, as a leader, we were thinking about, how do we find an additional 2 to 3% per year just to cover inflationary cost pressures? Those were the conversations around the table 2 or 3 weeks ago. But now it's more strategic and more planning and thinking about how the world has changed and how we deal with that. So while we're going through that, mental health is a big part of it, because here we are 2 weeks later and we find ourselves all working from home or from a remote location. So one of the reasons I have my outside jacket on right now is I just came in between meetings from a walk where I wanted to clear my mind and be ready for this call with you, Gary. And so, our mornings are, I think everyone's mornings these days are on their emails, reading social media, looking at the news, at forecast, Financial Times, looking at where the world's taking us. And so it's important to take a break from that. And so we really encourage our people to get out in between meetings, get in the fresh air. I'm in Edmonton here where we're expecting -20 at nighttime later on this week. So we are nowhere near springtime temperatures. And so it's unfortunately, there's no global warming out here out west right now. So
one of the things on the subject of mindset, Craig, and this is your creation, and I have no idea what this button's going to do.
Today's to-do list, GSD.
GSD, yes. So,
which I thought, just a sec, I got to press this one more time.
Stop meeting, stop thinking, stop talking. Just GSD.
So this GSD thing is your creation, your personal creation.
yes.
And it's an acronym. But I also think, relative to our theme today, it kind of represents a certain mindset. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on GSD and how it applies to everyone watching today.
So yeah, thank you for that. GSD is a double meaning, and really it drives our culture at Raptor Mining. So GSD is goal setting discussion or getting shit done. And so what I mean by that is our customers and our employees expect the leadership and all of us, frankly, at Raptor to get shit done. And how we do that is by having goal setting discussions. We're always looking at setting goals. We have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly goals, and that's what drives everybody. And really, it's that GSD mindset that allows us to focus. Really, three things that we focus on: innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship. So we drive creativity and entrepreneurship and innovation in really everything we do. And that helps define this GSD culture that we have and allows us to focus.
So if you're running a small business today, right
Yes.
now, okay, think of that. And Craig, we both have this real empathetic heart, I know, for small business. How do you translate what's going on in the world right now for anyone running a small operation in the context of GSD?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, it's so right now, a few weeks ago, we had people saying, hey, you know what, do we really need to have 2 or 3 meetings on this subject a week? Or do we really, I think we can probably, boil that down into 1 meeting a week. But right now we're having more meetings than ever before, because part of that mindset and the mental health and helping us be able to focus on GSD is around open communication with one another. So we're having more meetings than we've ever had before. And that's helping us ensure that we're GSD and I love what's happening right now. I see in our meetings, I see and I hear there's more people involved than before, because it's so important to communicate with one another, because we're all living and working from home right now, or for those of us who can. And let me just make a point on that. Not all of us can work from home. We have awesome staff at Raptor, the mechanics and the welders and the laborers and the people that need to get in and GSD. Those people are still coming in day in and day out and getting the job done. And they're doing it, of course, safely. And they're doing it with 2 words I didn't know existed until recently, called social distancing. 2 words I never thought I'd ever use in my life, frankly. And so we're doing it safely, and making sure that we're avoiding, contact with one another, at a distance, of course. But, I just want to, point out, when you're a small business person, you have to GSD. When I started this company, I had a hat on for everything, and, from shipping, receiving, to accounting, to sales, to engineering, to leadership, to cleaning up and turn off the lights at the end of the night. And so I for all those small business owners out there, they have to continue to GSD. That's they have to think about their goals. They have to push forward, because of course we'll all get through this, and we've all heard lots of people say that, but we will, and it's important more than ever that we all GSD and own that.
And Craig, in that spirit, we already know these are the kinds of conversations that you and I are having, that we're not going to see this on traditional media. And that's traditional media, networks, et cetera, that's not their mandate. But we do know that as business leaders, we can control these types of conversations and share these stories of what owners and leaders need to go through, need to know as they navigate this. So question I have for you is what are you doing for your inspiration? Like, what's pumping your tires? Where are you getting your sources to keep the fuel going into the mindset tank?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's like, right now there's so much noise out there. I think there's a lot of social media noise, and there's lot of different things that we right now mentally have to digest. And so right now what's keeping me focused is dredging through that and finding the facts that apply to my business and my people. And so really looking at the facts and data that is out there for us to digest and look at, which helps us build our strategy. And really focusing on that. So our weekly meetings that are now almost daily or every second day meetings with everybody are more important than ever. And so that in itself, when they hear, when all the staff and the Raptor team hear me talk about, this is what we're doing, this is what we're looking at, this is how we get through this. I think that is really, it's important for leadership and the GSD mindset and the people to stay positive and focused on what's to come. So right now it's all about getting through the short term, where the long term there should be a lot of positives for everybody.
I'm just thinking off the top of my head, are there any books, movies, music that you're turning to right now to keep the imagination and the positivity flowing?
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm definitely doing a lot of different reading. Right now I'm reading a lot of Financial Times. I'm looking at a lot of financial books. Just the more widespread different types of strategies I can review and look at, helps us apply ours. Most of the movies I'm watching right now are on Disney Plus because of my kids. So, I think I've seen Frozen 2 about 30 times in the past 3 weeks. And so, but as far as books, I'm reading a lot of financial literature and also mental health. And so just looking at some of the mental health, and when I read a book, I like you, I've read a lot of business books over the years, hundreds of them. You know what, there's certain chapters in certain books, I'm going back to review those now. I've made notes on them over the years. So definitely encourage people to go back and look at your business books and look at, some of those chapters and things that really stuck out. And that's what I've been doing is because now we have more time to review those things and more time than ever to focus on our businesses.
With respect to mindset, Craig, and we'll end it here. Is it fair to say that if you can win the mental game, you can win the business game?
No, it's definitely true. And right now, this is a mental game more than anything. That's what we're up against. Mental health is so important right now. So I definitely encourage people in between meetings, go outside for a walk, clear your mind, break away from screen time and really think about where you want yourself and your team, because all of us are leaders. And I encourage that with my teams. All of them are leaders. They all lead somebody within the organization, in some cases, whether they know it or not. So really be aware of that more than ever and encourage one another. So.
Craig, thanks so much for doing this, and continued success with Raptor Mining.
Thank you, Gare. GSD.
Yeah, we're going to have those goal-setting discussions and get a lot of stuff done as we thank Craig Harder for helping us all move small business forward as we lead together in these unpredictable.
You bet. Thank you, Gare.